going to be giving my ruminations on an article and the consequences of an article called "The Information Age is Over, Welcome to the Experience Age," published by Mike Wadera on May 9th, 2016. Now, I believe Mike Wadera is very, very articulate in his proffering of this hypothesis, and I think in a lot of ways he's spot on. And there's a lot to be said about the implications of this. So let's get right into the article. 25 years, quote, 25 years after the introduction of the World Wide Web, the information age is coming to an end. Thanks to mobile screens and internet everywhere, we're now entering what I like to call the experience age. When was the last time you updated your Facebook status? Maybe you no longer do. It's been reported that original status updates by Facebook's 1.6 billion users are down 21%. The status box is an icon of the information age, a period dominated by desktop computers and a company's mission to organize all the world's information. The icons of the experience age look much different and are born from microcomputers, mobile sensors, and high-speed connectivity. The death of the status box is a small part of a larger shift away from information moving towards experience. What's driving this shift? In short, the changing context of our online interactions shaped by our connected devices. You are not your profile. To illustrate how this is playing out, think of Facebook and Snapchat. Facebook is an information age native. Along with other social networks of its generation, Facebook was built on a principle of the desktop era, accumulation. Accumulation manifests in a digital profile where my identity is the sum of all the information I've saved, texts, photos, videos, web pages. In the information age, we represented ourselves with this digital profile. But mobile has changed how we view digital identity. With a connected camera televising our life in the moment, this is all hyphenated, so it's one word. It's a word concept. Our life in the moment. Accumulated information takes a back seat to continual self-expression. The virtual self is becoming less evident. I may be the result of everything I've done, but I am not the accumulation of it. Snapchat is native to this new reality. Many people think Snapchat is all about secrecy, but the real innovation of Snapchat's ephemeral message isn't that they self-destruct. It's that they force us to break the accumulation habit we brought over from desktop computing. The result is that the profile is no longer the center of the social universe. In the experience age, you are not a profile. You are simply you. So let's stop here for a moment. This is his quote. You are not your profile. In the experience age, you are not your profile. You are simply you. This is where the problem hits. This is where Faust realizes the implications of what he has traded his soul for, where all the information and love that he has sold his soul for, it dawns on him that perhaps it may not have been worth it. Because you are not simply you in the experience age. You are a digital simulacrum of you, a projection of you that talks, laughs, and smiles like you in real time, but is a mimic. The real you, the organic one, the one that, the one that breathes real air, tastes real food, feels your belly when you laugh, a shibboleth, merely, of bygone ages. You are a simulacrum, a digital simulacrum. In the experience age, you will be this, and it breaks my heart. Now, what does this mean? Why is it important? Well, let me ask you this. What does it teach our next generation? It teaches us our identity is digitized. We are no longer human beings with inner dialogues, thoughts, feelings, experiences, but now we are automatons. Our self-worth becomes entirely contingent upon the opinions of others in the digitized world. This article is espousing hurling introspection into the flames and abandoning our souls in favor of digitally induced dopamine spikes. This article is the knot in the pit of my stomach, the final harbinger of my long-held fears. Not because it smiles along with the words it espouses about how the digital age is just a more efficient, happier way of life. That's just business. But because in this article. Mr. Wadera reeks of sincerity. It sounds like he's truly excited about this, truly excited about digitizing everything about our lives in real time, our experiences, our very selves digitized. And as such, well, we'll get into it further in the article, the implications of that. So, back to the article. Quote, show, don't tell. The central idea of the experience age is this. I'll show you my point of view. You give me your attention. I hear you yelling, that's always been the story of social, and it has. But what's changed is that the stories we tell each other now begin and end visually, making the narrative more literal than ever. End quote. The central idea is give me your attention. So, not only are we vying for one another's external validation in this tech-induced dystopia, we are now disregarding the importance of the experience and opinion of the other entirely. We are seeing a 2D visualization of a person on the other end of the screen, not a 3D person, because we ourselves have become 2D. We are keeping up with the Joneses raised to the power of infinity. Quote, in the information age, the start of communication was information. On Facebook, you type into a status box, add metadata such as your location, blah, blah, blah. And you receive 6 pre-selected reactions with threading commenting. By contrast, Snapchat always starts with the camera. Feedback is sent passively. Swiping up on your story reveals which friends watched your snaps. In the experience age, the primary input is visual, and the dominant feedback is attention. So indeed, we're not even playing by the rules of compartmentalized, delineated emojis anymore. It's not even likes. It's not even, favoriting. It's who's even watching you. You dance, and you dance like a monkey. You debase yourself completely and dance for the attention of others. So at this point, if he's relegating this all to Snapchat, it's not even external validation in terms of others' opinions on you, but merely others' attention, how much of others' attention you are able to garner through your dancing like a circus monkey. Finally, he presents the experience stack with layers 0 through 5. I've included the image here so you can peruse it at your will, along with the link, of course, of the article in the description below. But he comments, he says, quote, as the bottom is layer 0, the real world, the full stack is in service of capturing and communicating real-world moments. Reality is its foundation. Very, very much the salesman, this man. But he's truly excited about it, I think. It's absolutely horrifying. Blah, blah, blah. As you move up, the layers transition from physical to logical. At the top is the application layer made up of products like Snapchat Live and Periscope, where, and you guess near the bottom is 4G cellular. We've end quoted. So he wraps up by saying the experience stack will drive new products to market faster as each layer can grow independently, while at the same time benefiting from advancements in the layers below. Blah, blah, blah. Given that some layers are still nascent, tremendous opportunities ahead. Our online and offline identities are converging. The stories we tell each other now start and end visually, and investments at every layer of a new stack are accelerating the development of experience-driven products. Taken together, these trends have cracked open the door for a new golden age of opportunity. So, here's the problem, right? A fusion of online and offline identities. We would be proffering our very souls, our quality of self-experience, introspection, profound thought, and exchange to build a shrine to external validation. And now, as things become smoother, it may not even be likes and favorites we're gunning after. It may just be attention itself. That we have surrendered all form of intellectual rigor. It's terrifying, gentlemen. Absolutely terrifying. In the classic German legend Faust, Faust is a bored, depressed man. He's a scholar. He's lived his entire life as an ascetic. And so eventually he calls upon the devil to grant him knowledge and magic, that he may indulge himself in unlimited pleasure and knowledge. Mephistopheles appears to Faust as emissary of the devil and presents him with the contract. He says he will serve Faust for the remainder of Faust's life. In exchange, his soul will be damned for eternity. Now, technology, gentlemen, has its uses. I'm not anti-technology. I'm certainly a gamer myself, an avid gamer, and I utilize technology in my day-to-day life. But I'm talking about a very specific vein of technology here, one that is promulgating, as Mr. Wadera astutely points out, a transition to the experience age. It's no longer even about elucidating our opinions of others, our external validations, as it were, of others via words, with Snapchat being, his native to the experience age. It's now about, quite literally, vying for other people's digital attention and creating whatever bombastic or whatever, utterly soulless, utterly contentless, sort of superficial viscera, a veneer with nothing underneath. That is to be the next generation of our society. What will this do, I ask you, gentlemen, to the psyche of the individual moving forward? That's what I have to say about this. We are playing with fire with technology like this. We must reject the fusion of identities, this information, this entertainment age. We have to make sure we don't get burned. Thank you for listening, gentlemen. Have a pleasant evening.